Manchester United 2, AC Milan 4. And before everybody starts screaming, it's only a pre-season. Yes, I know. I'm not calling for anybody to get sacked. I'm not saying the season's finished before it's even started. But tactically, there were some things in the game that Michael Carrick is going to have to address very quickly. Because United actually started this game well. We pressed well. We attacked aggressively. We scored after 2 minutes. And we went ahead twice. And somehow, we ended up conceding 4 goals. So how did Ruben Amorim go from looking like he was about to get absolutely cooked by his former club to watching AC Milan completely take control of the game? Because this wasn't just individual mistakes. There was tactical reason behind it. And the biggest problem, Samuel Chukwueze absolutely murdered Manchester United down on one side of the pitch. Let me show you exactly how. So, Manchester United started in Carrick's familiar 4-3-2-1 formation. Lemens in goal, Mazraoui, Maguire, Heaven and Shaw across the back, Andre Santos and Yuri Tillemans as the double pivot, Bruno Fernandes as the number 10, Ahmad on the right, Dargu on the left, and Matheus Cunha through the middle. AC Milan lined up in the Ruben Amorim's 3-4-2-1, and automatically this created an interesting tactical battle because Milan had 3 centre-backs, 2 central midfielders, 2 wing-backs providing width, and then Loftus-Cheek and Cisse operating inside behind Goncalo Ramos. So, whenever Milan had possession, they effectively had players occupying all 5 vertical attacking lanes: left wing, left half space, centre, right half space, right wing, and the right wing is where the problems really started. ESPN listed the systems as United's 4-2-3-1 against Milan's 3-4-2-1. And ironically, the opening few minutes were probably United's best spell of the game. Dargu immediately attacked Milan's left side and won the corner that eventually produced the opener. Bruno puts in the delivery, and big Harry Maguire rises above everybody. 1-0 Man United after 2 minutes. Old school, corner, big centre half, bang, get in. And then only a few minutes later, Ahmad nearly creates another opportunity after robbing Pavlovic high up the pitch. That was important because United's press initially looked dangerous. When Milan tried to construct possession slowly through their back three, United were aggressive enough to turn those sideways passes into pressing triggers. The wingers jump, Cunha closes the centre-back, Bruno pushes onto the midfielder, and suddenly Milan are being forced into uncomfortable decisions. And this is what I liked. Cunha wasn't standing there waiting for service. Ahmad wasn't standing there on the touchline watching. Dargu wasn't passive. United were trying to make Milan uncomfortable, but then Milan adjusted, and this is where the game started changing. Once Milan survived those opening 10 to 15 minutes, they started moving the ball much more comfortably. Instead of consistently trying to attack United centrally, Milan stretched the pitch, and this is exactly what a 3-4-2-1 can do brilliantly. United's front four compressed to 3 centre-backs plus 1 midfielder, fine, but then you've got another midfielder, you've got 2 wing-backs, you've got 2 number 10s sitting between the lines, and you've got Ramos occupying the centre-backs. Someone eventually becomes free, and Milan became very good at finding that free player. United finished with only 39% possession compared with Milan's 61%, while Milan completed 522 passes compared with United's 303. That tells you how the rhythm changed after United's first fast start. But possession alone isn't the problem. You can dominate games without the ball. The concern was what happened when Milan escaped United's first line of pressure. Suddenly, Santos and Tillemans had a huge amount of territory to protect. One goes towards the ball, the other tries covering the passing lane. Bruno's ahead of them, and now there are Milan players appearing in those spaces behind United's midfield. That eventually leads to the equaliser. 37 minutes. This goal basically shows the problem. Jashari wins the ball around the halfway line. Immediately a Milan transition. Ramos moves into the left channel, and instead of forcing the shot, he gets his head up and finds Chukwueze arriving at the far side. He wasn't unmarked. That's the thing. The United defence came towards Goncalo Ramos and he was a free man in that wing-back role, bombing it down that side. Jashari winning possession around halfway before Ramos moved to the left and supplied Chukwueze for the equaliser. And guess who lost the ball there around there for that to happen? Bruno Fernandes. Led to that throwing to happen, and that throwing, they squirmed it. Look at the width here though. This is what United struggled with. When the ball moves towards one side, everybody gets attracted to it. the back four shuffle, the midfield shuffle, and the players on the opposite side become free. And Chukwueze basically spends the rest of the afternoon saying, "Cheers, lads. I'll just stand over here then." And that's all he did on that side. Literally, he attacked that space like there was no tomorrow. United were defending the ball, Milan were attacking the space. Big difference between the both. And United did have a massive opportunity to go into the halftime ahead. Tillemans gets brought down, penalty, Bruno steps up, and Torini saves it. Sky records the penalty save just before halftime. Now, tactically, that doesn't change much, but psychologically, going into halftime 2-1 ahead after surviving Milan's strongest spell could have completely changed the second half. Instead, it's 1-1. Then United come flying out again. 51st minute, Milan make a horrible mistake at the back. Dargu anticipates it, takes advantage. He's 1-on-1 with the keeper, finishes it 2-1 United. And again, there's something positive there. Dargu's aggression, his willingness to attack the space, his pressing mentally, and his ability to arrive in goal scoring areas. Milan's error presented Dargu with the chance, and United regained the lead. But unfortunately, then came the Chukwueze show. Oh my god, and what a show it was. He was running the scene. 57th minute, Milan switched play towards Chukwueze, and he looks on the right hand side. United can't stop him delivering. Ball across. CC attacks the back post. 2-2. 6 minutes after United take the lead, gone. And look at that pattern again. With switch, Chukwueze, back post. It started off from that side, got switched over, and then he crossed it again to the side that it got switched over from. AS reported that CC actually helped initiate the move on the opponent's side, believing the ball was switched towards Chukwueze, and the next thing you know, people say that he might have been in an offside position. And this is where I'd like to be concerned if I'm Carrick, because once can be an individual mistake, twice might be coincidence, but when the same tactical route keeps producing chances, that's a structural issue. Sportsmo credited Chukwueze with one goal and 2 assists, specifically highlighted United's difficulty dealing with him in the wide areas. United never really found an answer. Do you send Shaw aggressively towards him? If Shaw goes, who protects the channel inside? Does the left winger track all the way? If he does, United lose an outlet in transition. Does one of the midfielders slide across? If Santos or Tielemans goes, you've opened up central space for Loftus-Cheek, Cisse or Ramos. This is exactly why Amrim loves this system when it works. The wing-back stretches you horizontally, while the inside forwards occupy you vertically. You have to choose what you're giving up. United kept choosing the wrong thing constantly. Then came probably the most important period tactically. Around the hour mark, United made 6 substitutions. Dallo comes on, Lisandro Martinez comes on, Mainu, Shea Lacey, Mbeumo, and Marcus Rashford. He's awaited return to the Man United lineup. It's been a while, but now we get to see what he was about. So suddenly, we were changing defenders, changing midfielder, and then changing both wide players. That's basically half the team. United's 6 changes were made on the 61st minute, while Milan had also introduced players like Luka Modric around the hour mark, and instantly United lose cohesion. This is obviously where you have to remember it's pre-season. Carrick needs minutes in people's legs. He needs to experiment. He needs players returning to fitness. But tactically, the structure completely falls apart. Milan, meanwhile, suddenly had Luka Modric helping them control possession. Imagine trying to reorganize the players and Luka Modric is standing in their way going, yes, confusion. Me likey. Milan began dominating possession more comfortably after the changes, and then came the killer blow. 68 minutes. Once again, who creates it? Chukwueze. Milan combine. Ball goes to Chukwueze. Cross. Ramos attacks the 6-yard pass. Header. 3-2 Milan. It's literally like, you know when Messi crossed it in for Lautaro Martinez to score the header? It was exactly picture perfect of that, reminiscent. And that's something that United need to look at, because that goal is not just about stopping crosses, but defending the box once the cross comes in. You've got to know who's attacking the front post, who's protecting the central zone, who's tracking the narrow runner, who's protecting the back post. United looked reactive rather than organised. Everybody's watching football. Milan's players are watching the space they are attacking. 3 minutes later, 4-2, Loftus-Cheek combines around midfield and drives straight through towards United's box. Nobody stops him. Nobody takes control of the situation. He keeps on running one-on-one with Senne Lemans, gets into the penalty area, finish, game over, khalas. AS reported Loftus-Cheek exchanging possession around midfielders before continuing his run down the right and finishing past Lemans. And one thing that annoyed me more than anything, because sometimes you've just got to say, foul him. I'm not asking for prime Sergio Ramos here still. Just stop the transition, take the yellow, reset the defense. Instead, he carries the ball into the box and scores. They did exactly the same thing in the first half, and Ahmad was nearly free, and they stopped it. They didn't care about getting that yellow card. This is what needed to happen here. And this takes me to probably the biggest tactical concern, United's midfield. I actually like Santos. I like Tielemans. There are promising qualities there, but there were moments where the distance between United's attack, midfield, and defense became too large. When United pressed together, they looked dangerous. When United attacked together, they created problems. When the press got bypassed, suddenly you've got acres of grass, and that is what Carrick has to fix, because Premier League teams will target that immediately. You can't have Bruno pressing 15 yards ahead and one midfielder stepping towards the ball, the other midfielder trying to cover the three passing options, and your back four dropping. That creates a massive hole. The team needs to move as one unit. If the forward presses, midfield goes. If the midfield goes, the defense squeezes. Compact, controlled, aggressive. Now, am I panicking? Nah, it's just pre-season. United changed 6 players after an hour. Players are still building fitness. Martinez is coming back into the team. Mainu's getting minutes. Rashford made his first appearance in 20 months. And there were positives. Dargu's aggression was good. The opening press was good. Maguire looked dangerous from set pieces. There were moments where Santos and Tielemans showed what that midfield can eventually become. United also still produced 10 attempts and 6 shots on target. But here's the stats that worry me. Big chances. Man United 1. AC Milan 6. 6. That's the difference. United had moments. Milan had situations where their system created genuinely dangerous opportunities. And that's why I wouldn't dismiss the result completely. For me, Carrick has 3 things that we need to work on. Number 1, defending the weak sides. If the ball is on our right, somebody has to know what's happening on our left. Chukwueze cannot be receiving that much space. Number 2, counter-pressing. If United lose possession while 5 or 6 players are attacking, the nearest players have to react immediately. Heaven was doing a bit of that, to be honest, during the game, but they need to do it as a unit together. You have either win it back, slow the counter-attack, or foul. You can't allow teams to run through you. And number 3, compactness. United's 4-2-3-1 can work. I actually think we've seen enough positive signs during pre-season to know what Carrick is trying to build, but the distance have to be better, because this game showed exactly what happens when they're not. United scored after 2 minutes, United led twice, and somehow Ruben Amorim walked away with a 4-2 victory over his former club. Milan didn't beat United because they had some revolutionary new formation. They beat United because they were recognised when the space was, kept attacking it, and Manchester United never properly adjusted. That's the lesson. And with the Premier League starting next week, Carrick hasn't got much time for it. So, Mandem, what do you think? Are you worried after that? Or are we completely overreacting because it's just pre-season? And most importantly, what would you do to change before the first Premier League game? Let me know in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to Man Like Hoyo, and remember, football is everything.